Hi guys, hello, meet everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and I did buy a fountain soda today. It was a little bit of a challenge getting it out. I didn't get a straw, but I don't really need one. Today I want to first of all clear a few things up. Number one, I'm sorry if I got a little bit, if things seem like it got a little crazy when we were all talking about different viewpoints on different things. So let's just start with that. Now, I did call T-Mobile, and I did plan to cancel the first phone number because we don't use it that much. And I said, what's the cheapest plan you got? I said, because I know I got to still pay for the EIP and equipment installment. And I said, well, since you canceled the tablet, that's going to save you about $35-45. I said, good. And we can get you on the mobile internet plan for $50 instead of $75. Sounds good. Well, now the killer. Oh, yeah, by the way, the plan that can get you on for $120, which includes the EIP, is going to cost you $100 a month, but it also comes with 2 more phone lines. So what am I going to do with 2 more phone lines? First, he was going to offer me some free phones. I said, sir, with all due respect, I have plenty of free phones. I don't need another phone. I already have phones. Can I just get the SIM chips? Yes, you can get the SIM chips. So I got the SIM chips. And, So I went down from the $232 a month as the plan was, because it was $150 plus taxes and fees and stuff, to $120. Of course, they said, wow, it'll be $100 if you decide to get auto pay. And the reason I chose not to get auto pay is because when the T-Mobile store put me on auto pay, I almost didn't have enough money because I was expected to pay the bill on the 3rd. I was processing on the 1st of the month. And so I said, for the right now, I said, I'm not going to do it at this point. Auto pay, but maybe later on. Once I finally get all the bills straightened out. And so I'm sitting there like having some other choice. What am I going to do with 2 more phone numbers? Everybody thinks it's crazy. I have 2 already. Now I got 4 of them. I'm talking about on the cell phone plan and then my home phone and its internet plan. So I'm sitting there going, this is crazy, you know. But that's what they said. Still got 2 more SIM chips that you can use to activate 2 more phones on your plan, and it doesn't cost extra a month. Because you're a customer that's been with us for 7 years. We're only offering this to long-term customers like you that have been around T-Mobile for over 7 years. So I said, okay. So I got these two more phone numbers to use for something. Okay. Now, confusing because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with two more phone numbers. Okay, so I got the two more phone numbers. Now, I calculated the budget for this month, and it looks like we're going to have like a $300 credit. $300 profit. Which is good, okay? But I don't know what else to say. Just get like a $300 profit coming, that's all. After all the bills are paid. So, let's talk about what I found out. I mentioned this morning. I'm just going to rehash this part real quick. Because I'm on a spend down, which I was also before the pandemic. Okay. When the pandemic happened, they put me on full Medicaid. And that was great, because then I was able to get a Medicare Advantage plan, which I have, right? But now, it's ended. And so what's going to happen is, for me, I just get stuffed up sometimes. So what's going to happen now is that if I don't come up with about $2,400 expenditures out of my pocket in 6 months, I'm gonna not meet Medicaid. So, which means at that point, the Anthem card, I will be rolled from that, which happens to be the closest time of open enrollment, which means at that point I'm gonna have to pick up another plan to pick up my refills. Okay, so anything that is the Medicaid would have paid for, they're no longer paying for it. Good thing is the state of Connecticut pays for Medicare Part B premium, so I'm not getting slammed in the face like $200-something a month bill on Medicaid. Medicare Part B. Well, you know what? I'll tell you something. For those of you who never really thought much about it, during the time of the pandemic, it was the closest time the United States ever got to National Health Service, because anybody could get Medicaid. Anybody. Not just certain anybody's. Which was nice. Okay? But after that over, everybody's thinking about the way it was. Because there's no longer a need. Okay? There's no longer a need. So that means everybody goes back to their own private insurance. Anybody who applied for Medicaid, who feels needs testing like me, goes back on spend downs, and other people just get thrown off the rules completely, spend down or not. Which throws everybody for a loop, because now what? So and this thing is kind of interesting, if it makes any sense. It's just kind of weird. Anyway, this is a cup. This doesn't even say Cumberland Farms. Oh yeah, it does. It says Cumberland Farms right here. And the printing on the cup here. I was wondering if this is a generic cup. No, it does say Cumberland Farms on the side. Which is why I often do my drinks. So, everything right now, at this point, is okay. This here is a little stuffed up for some reason. But it's not because they're not laying on this air so it can drain. Well, actually, that's just it. Because I am laying on this here. The food that's on the inside isn't draining out because it's going in the back of the ear. So I gotta lay on the other side. That was the problem I was having before when I was here. So, so what about when everybody was kind of getting in a heated talk over on the panel? Let's talk about that, because that's kind of interesting too. You see, sometimes I feel like I'm not being listened to. I don't know if I'm stupid. I don't know if I'm too obtuse. I don't know if I'm too difficult to understand. But so we started talking about this bills, and all of a sudden it kind of got everybody all agitated and hyper, and the next thing you know, everybody's tripping over each other, talking over each other, and like I said, I wasn't meaning to be disrespectful. I just was saying guys, no one's listening to me. I've been trying to tell this to you the whole time, but no one's listening to me, because every time I try to talk, somebody else keeps talking over me. Is that the latency issue in the system? I kind of wonder if there is a latency issue too, because the way the internet is, but I can't do anything about that. It's just something that's network related. But, so I sat there and like, some of the people are like, okay, Michelle must live high off the hog. She's got 2 cell phones and a home phone. Well, no, but you know what? Now I got a really spicy problem. Now I got 4 cell phone numbers. Because that's the cheapest rate that they could give me. Because I've been a customer for 7 years, I was able to get this limited plan. 7 cell phones. Numbers. Now, I can give a phone number to Krista or to Ray or to somebody else I trust. No, I'm not giving one to Ed. I don't even want to talk to Ed, honestly. That's another story altogether, different, but they, so I just, listening to these, cell phone company, and this guy was nice, patient. I must add the word patient, because they can be difficult to communicate with on the phone. And he told me, he said, Michelle, in all due respect, this is the best plan you're going to get. Here's why. Number one, you're paying for an equipment installment plan. Number two, you're paying for 100 gigabytes a month mobile internet. Okay? So they figure this out. EIP is $34.95 a month. Let's say $40. Plus $50 a month for EIP. Okay, for the data plan. That's $90. Then, do you realize I said without the taxes and stuff, that means that's $90, right? Without auto pay, you're only paying $120. So you figure it out. That's like $90 plus 50, or not even that. 90 plus 30. I'm actually only paying $30 for 4 fucking phone lines. But the thing is, what am I gonna do with 4 phone numbers? I'm sure Mother God's got a plan. She's gotta have a plan, because I sure am out of them. I don't have an idea. What am I gonna do with 4 phone numbers? Well, I don't know. Maybe you could use one for the iPhone 8 when you finally get it fixed. When I finally get it fixed. Exactly the right word, Lou. When or if I finally get it fixed. When's that gonna be? I have no idea. Maybe when the rent goes down. And when's that gonna be? Hard to say. Maybe in a few years when Trump's in office. Maybe, or maybe not. Probably more likely than not. Yeah, probably not. So, basically, it means that I got an iPhone 8 that's a walking master disaster that'll probably never be fixed. I have an iPhone 4S that may or may not work. The system. Oh, I'm sure it would work with it, but the question is, the phone is even more useless than your LG Aristo K2. 2, because the fact is, it's even older than the Aristo. Yeah. So you're going to be stuck with. But there is another option. But I'll tell you what it is. But it's something you can consider for the future. You want to talk about, Michelle, with the SIM gateways? Yeah, I'll talk about this. The SIM gateway thing that Lemmy's talking about is kind of similar to the T-Mobile home phone adapter that they have. In other words, the difference is that this works with a 4G or 5G LTE phone SIM card. And you put it into it, and then it connects to the cell phone network, and then You plug it into an analog phone of choice, and it turns that analog phone of choice into a cell phone. It's a gateway, SIM gateway. And the nice thing is, if you had that, that's where you could put the other 2 SIM chips. Or you could do something similar for the existing phones you have, which is to get a Bluetooth to POTS adapter. In other words, so at night when Michelle goes to sleep, she puts the 2 phones pair up automatically with her home phone adapters, so that anytime the phone rings, it's going to ring her cell phone. It's also going to ring her home phone. It's just going to, each one has her own line button. Right. So which means in that case, Michelle has options of having 8 incoming phone lines with 54 extensions. So that means that with 2 Bluetooth adapters, one for this phone, one for the LG phone, she can have it so that she can receive phone calls on those cell phones on her home phone. Well, exactly. You can do that. Would be kind of advantage in some cases. Right, in some cases. The other thing is, what about the home internet? Well, could you get rid of that? After all, you have a hotspot, then you get rid of the home internet completely. Well, I thought about doing that originally. See, originally what it was is the hotspot was kind of testing it out, kicking the tires to see if it will work for that purpose. And it kind of does, except for occasionally when the network's really congested. Then my data rates, or as a shared connection goes, really down the shitter. There's not much you can do with that. And I just said, no, well, gee, some days I get 16 megabits per second up. Some days I get 4 megabits per second up. Sometimes I only get 1 megabit per second up. Okay, it varies so much. Okay. On my home wired Frontier, I get average 1.4 megabits per second down, up, and about 22 to 24 megabits per second down. Whereas with T-Mobile, down, I can see my download speeds anywhere from 60 megabits per second to 200 megabits per second if I'm using it really late at night. So that's pretty good. And then we had all these sunspots, and the question is can you really trust it? If the sun acts up bad and sends an X1 class flare, say an X5, X6, X8, how is this going to affect my signal? Well, when we had the last X-class flare, I can tell you what it did to my signal. And my hotspot went right down the drain. There was no signal. None. Zip. I couldn't get anything. So that's the reason why I have to be very careful. Like I said to the group, and I'll say it here because it's nothing confidential, I said, guys, right now I'm a little bit nervous. And the reason is, it's very simple. Because everything is so tight and so uncertain and so unsure that I don't know. Anything goes wrong, it could put me into a bad tailspin financially. And I can't change that. I can't change that easily. So I can't, for example, let's say, for example, after all, it is a real world issue. let's say something bad happens to my health or my computer. My computer's like my car. If my computer goes down, I am totally screwed. Okay, so let's talk about my health first. Let's say I can't think of any examples, but let me just make up one. Let's just say I have an accident. Let's say something goes wrong. Okay, maybe I get hit by a bus or something. I know, that's pretty extreme. Hopefully it never happens, but we'll just show this example. And I then find out that I have to pay like $5,000 just for visiting the ER and getting maybe a few days in the hospital recovery time, maybe after surgery or something. That'd be pretty cheap surgery. That would be a very cheap surgery. I'm using this as an example anyway. First of all, I don't have $5,000. And second of all, yeah, I could show, hey, I gotta pay $5,000 and I meet my deductible. Okay? Which is great. But at the same time, I still have to pay the $2,500. That's the deductible. Okay? But I only have like $400 in the savings, and I'm still trying to put profit into my checking account. So right now, I just calculated the budget for next month. I just did it based on the numbers I have. I'm going to have a net profit of about $300 before it goes into checking. So $300 additional funds. Then that's going to go into checking. It gets me about $600. So in this example, that's $600 plus $400. That's $1,000. I'm still would be $1,500 short. And don't forget, Jimmy, landlord, or more precisely his wife, is going to be going, hey, are you still a West rent? So fork it over. And I'm like, while I'm sitting there in the in the hospital going, how am I going to pay you? I can't pay you. I don't have any money. I just had to pay the doctor $1,000, and now I got to come up with another $1,000, and I only get $1,534 a month. Meaning, yeah, you got it. You have slit your throat. Congratulations. You've just given yourself a Sicilian necktie. Not exactly what I call fun, but that's a reality. Okay? This is something like a lot of economists have said. A lot of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And if you're on a fixed income, you're even more so living paycheck to paycheck. So, I'm trying to find ways to lower my expenses. And sometimes I'm like these big boulders, like Wile E. Coyote's pushing up hills. I'm not easy to get going. You get me going, you start getting me rolling, and you just hope to God that you're not in the right place if I accidentally start rolling backwards and squash you flat. That's the reality with my budget. I know I gotta do something. Okay? I'm afraid of being homeless. I'm afraid of falling behind. I'm afraid of being a disaster. I'm afraid of being a failure. I'm afraid of looking bad. And yet, I realize that I gotta do all this because I can't really depend on anyone to bail me out. And so I'm sitting there and going, okay, so I'll put money from, we're only talking about money from my check. We're not talking about money from YouTube here because that varies so much that I can't even go by that, okay? So I got $1,534. I got a $1,000 a month rent, which means we have $530 cash. I gotta pay an electric bill. On average, it's about $100. So that's $434 a month. Then I gotta pay the home internet, a phone bill. Not the four, because we had the Internet Connectivity Act Affordable Connectivity Act, ACA, which gave me $29 credit, plus $50 of that was also getting paid for by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield D-SNP plan, which when to spend down means probably no more. Okay, no more. Okay, that's gone. That means $80 please. That's approximately. Yeah. Okay, that sounds about right. 70. 70. Okay. Oh, so 434 minus that is about $340 approximately. Okay. So now $330 approximately, $340 means now you have to figure that. What about other things that come up every day? The cell phone bill. Okay, which is now $120. So, 334 minus 120. Let's do taxes and fees on that. So you're gonna have to remember that in. Okay, so let's just say that comes out to be about $140, just to make the math easy. That leaves us with $200.14. I mean $214. That means that's net profit. That's what's left. But then I gotta pay credit cards. So 50 please to each one. That's 114. So 114 left. That's net gain. So it's still a profit. But the profit margin is getting so tight that by the time I'm done figuring out all the math, assuming I didn't forget a transaction, which I did because I forgot to mention hair. 60. Okay, 60. That means $60 net gain, net profit. That's it. That's it. Have an American toy. How are you going to handle this? You're going to pay $60 a month. I mean, profit? What about cat food? Cat supplies, cat litter, cleaning supplies. Don't have to worry about food, but I can forget Instacart because that ain't gonna go. As I'm paying $99 a year for Instacart delivery charge. It's like Amazon Prime. Well, guess what? That's coming to an end. I have to, because it's 99 friggin' bucks that goes out of my Capital One card every year. I can't afford that either. So now you see why I'm trying to lower my expenses. And I don't normally talk about this stuff all the time. I do bring it up, but I don't go into details about my fear. So let me tell you what my fear is. I'm afraid that I'm going to end up homeless. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid I'm going to end up homeless and not being able to do anything about it. And please do not suggest roommates, because roommates, of the few I've had, didn't necessarily work out well. Okay? And I'm just afraid. Because I feel like I don't have a safe harbor to go to. I'm like a ship in rough seas. I can't find a place to go into a harbor and be safe during the storm. I have to shelter the storm in place. I gotta hunker in my bunker because I don't have a choice. There's no. I'm batting on the hatches. I'm sitting in the hold. I'm praying to God the ship does not capsize, and then leaving homeless alone with my cat. So you see now why I get so frustrated with the bills. And I was a business major, but I still telling you, I can't go to the board of directors as my CEO of the company and go, hey, we need to raise more money, boys. We have to make more money because we're running out of cash. We need to bring in more revenue, or we're going to end up having to file for Chapter 11. First of all, I couldn't afford to file for Chapter 11. That's like $500. her personal bankruptcy. And so Lumi asked me a question. I said, what would you do if you just had to basically just default on your credit card debts? Michelle says to me, let us just pray to the Lord our God that we don't have to do that. See, Michelle started out really hard trying to put money aside so that she can get her credit score up, so that if the opportunity ever arises, that she can get a house. And that's, or a good apartment. Because a lot of landlords check your credit score even for renting an apartment. So Michelle's trying to get her credit score up. And it's going to be very difficult for Michelle to get her credit score up if she ever defaults on her credit cards. So you see, that's the reason why she told me. She said to me, Lumi, I have no desire to default on my credit card payments. I have to keep them in good standing. I have to keep them paid. Because if I don't lower the principal, it's not going to increase my credit score to optimal so I can get a good interest rate on a house. Even if she never does get a house, she will need that credit score for a lot of apartment rentals. Exactly. And that's why reasons why we have to be careful with the budget. Because everything is being tied to your credit score these days. Everything. Meaning that there is no room. It's not like in college. When you're in college, okay, you start out as a college kid, okay? First of all, I'm not a college kid. But this is an example because I used to be, okay? You're 22, 23, 24, okay? You're going to college. You signed off on your student loan credits, on your Stafford or your Perkins, which I did them both, right? After I did the FAFSA, and you go to college, you're living in a dorm, your meal plan covers your food at school, okay? You're not going hungry, you don't have to do good academically in college, you got to stay there in the dorms, but you got to be full-time. Now, I'll tell you a secret. I couldn't handle full-time. I really couldn't. I tried. I really did. I failed as a full-time student. I really am so disappointed by that, but it's something that I couldn't really help. It was just too much. But then the first thing that they do to indoctrinate the kids to the world of debt is say, hey, would you like to have your first credit card? We have one just for you with your school logo on it. In my case, those Yukon Huskies. Oh, I also have a nice customly handwritten, hand-drawn, ugly black and white t-shirt, which I don't have anymore. Michelle would never wear it anyway. It was hideous. It was hideous. The other one I did have was a beautiful one. It had AT&T logo on it. It said MasterCard, and it was pretty. Okay, I liked it. Unfortunately, I don't have that one anymore either. Then Michelle got later on, oh, I need an American Express card. She gets an American Express card, runs that up. It was not an Optimum True Grace card. Oh, which means every month, hey, there's a bill. You'll owe us $300. Pay it. And she'd be like, wait, how am I supposed to pay? I'm only getting $500 a month. Well, that's not my problem, lady. Pay it. And I had to pay $310 a month of rent for subletting a room in an apartment complex. It was $325. $325 for a room. The other two roommates moved out. I got stuck with an electric heat pump. I was paying in the winter like $300 friggin' a month just to heat the damn place. That was ridiculous. An example when I'm talking about how tight it was done. I was living on exhaust fumes. I was eating the equivalent of ramen noodles every friggin' day and a bowl of cereal every day. And And I was struggling, having to fish into the dumpsters to look for furniture. I didn't forget those days. How could I? That was something I had to do. That's where my vacuum cleaner came from. I don't know if you ever wonder what my vacuum cleaner Hoover Portable came from a dumpster in Cellar Run Square. I had to buy a new hose for it. I had to buy some new nozzles for it, some attachments for it. But yeah, that's the same vacuum I still have. Yep. So, see what I'm saying now? This is the reason why I'm so afraid of falling back into that circle jerk of living on borrowed time. And everybody's saying, lower your expenses, lower your expenses, lower your expenses, cut this, cut this, cut this, cut this, cut this. And you're trying, and then you got a hearing impairment on top of that. And so this guy, instead of saying, well, we can, they should say, no, some sites do have a way you can talk online and say, okay, and they can just type to the customer service and say, okay, here's what I need to do, boom, 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 boom. Or you can go to self-service kiosks. That's why I tried first with T-Mobile. The only thing was, there was no way to change the plan. I couldn't change it because I just got on this one. And I had to call them up and talk to them to get on a better rate. Which I did. But is it enough? Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, Mother God, help me, please. I really do mean it. I don't know if it's enough. I really don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm worrying about nothing. Maybe I'll be fine. Maybe I will not be fine. It's just like Doris Day sings, Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. Maybe you'll be fine. Maybe like my tarot reading says, despite some of the hardships, you'll overcome it and we'll move on in a positive way. And this is just a temporary setback. And I think that's what's happening. But, I got to keep aiming high. And I say aiming high, I don't mean going for the most expensive life, living out high up to the deluxe apartment in the sky. No, nothing like that. But I mean is where I can finally pay the bills off and still make a nice little profit so that I can feel a little bit of comfort with a little bit of a cushion. So that's the reason why we're not adding in the YouTube money, because of the reason is number one, it's too variable. We don't know if it's going to be how much it's going to be each month. It might be 100 one month, might be only 50 one month, might be 75 one month. It could be $300 one month, which would be nice. But again, that's separate money. That doesn't get added into the budget sheet because it's too variable. So I learned long ago, when your numbers fluctuate that as much as they do with YouTube, leave them out. Do not put them in the budget sheet because they're too variable and you can't guarantee it. Same thing with Patreon. What I get, like $5? Patreon? That's it. That's all I get. So, and of course you got a person that doesn't understand the low income. Everything's going up. And I have to deal with everything going up. I'm on a fixed income. Now, I know that there's questions if there's going to be a larger increase. But we won't know until they get the budget for July, August, September. And that's when they calculate the cost of living adjustment for both food stamps and the Social Security disability. So once I know that in December, then I can go, okay, now I can update the budget sheet, but then I know the expenses are going to go up too. For example, like food stamps will go down as it normally does. When your SSI, in my case, SSD goes up, my food stamps go down. So let's say it's $240 now. Let's say after cost of living increase of 4%, $12, maybe about $252. Then they're going to go, oh, well, we're going to take away from your disability check $12. But since the state pays my Medicare Part B, thank God, that would have been like $300. Do you see what I'm saying now? This is the reason why I get so frustrated, so panicky. It's not because anybody's saying anything, all this horrible stuff. It's because I don't have anyone to talk to about this. And so feel like I'm getting crushed. Why the reality is the bills have to get paid and I have to figure out the money, and it's scary. It's scary. I try not to let it bother me on the show, but it goes through my head every night, which causes me many sleepless nights. What if I don't have it next month? What if something goes wrong? What if some program is canceled, like the Affordable Connectivity Act? I know that was only $29. That still was $29 off my internet home bill, which is a nice savings. And now that's gone. So now that means I gotta pay $70 or $40, let's just say $79. That's about right. $79. So plus taxes and all that stuff. That's a lot. I know someone say, stop nickeling and diming yourself to death. Well, unfortunately, when you're on a fixed income, you have to nickel and dime yourself to death because every nickel and dime counts. I think I got it. I think I said enough. I really do. I think you get the point. So, yeah. So, of course, me and Lumi are going to spend time playing video games. We need to get away from the numbers. We need to get away from the math. We got to get away from the news. We cannot deal with it every day. It's just too much. And so, that's why we do what we do. It's because sometimes it's easier that way. Well, anyway, guys, that's that. I gotta get ready, go get some non-food items at Cumbies because I'm almost out of tobacco, and I gotta get more of that. That's another $10. 10? Probably 12. The stuff's gone up in price. The excise tax is insane. I know. How much money you got in the bank right now? Checking? Yeah. I can tell you how much food stamps I got left. $55.60. Good enough for getting chips tomorrow. Yeah. And cash $346.77, which isn't bad. No, but you're right, it's still scary. I agree. So, please, ladies and gentlemen, if anything you could do, is just pray for Michelle, okay? Because she could use all the help she can get right now. Michelle may not be the smartest bulb in the chandelier, or the brightest bulb in the chandelier, but you can't say that she doesn't at least light the way somewhere for someone to see what's going on. Even though sometimes she gets freaked out and scared too. She doesn't have case management. She doesn't have case management support staff. All she's got is me and Carmen. And we're all worried about the same thing. So please promise me that you will respect that. I really care about Michelle. Carmen cares about Michelle. Michelle, of course, cares about Michelle and me. And so we're trying to come out with something that works. So hopefully now you understand why she's frustrated. And I'm sorry if Michelle jumped the gun and chat this morning. It's just a big fear. The fear of disappointment, the fear of being homeless, the fear that she can't keep up and falls behind the cracks. That's her biggest fear, is abandonment. And she's trying. And so I'm asking you, please have mercy. Please have mercy. Okay? That's all we're asking. Alright, guys, we're gonna let you go. So everybody, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.